Hi friends, thank you for joining me on the mat today. Today's practice is going to be really focusing on the kind of midsection of our body, so the torso, the trunk, maybe the core. And we're going to be looking at kind of finding the sense of stability and strength within the core, within the trunk. Not so much about overworking, so in that sense of like doing crunches and sit-ups and stuff. It's going to be more of a gentle engagement and thinking about how when we engage the core, what are our ribs doing? So thinking about this knitting of the ribs as they come in, as we exhale, as we find this engagement through the mid-body, and finding the sense of fluidity as we find the strength within the core. So when you're ready, come and join me. We're going to start lying on our backs. So come to find a comfortable place in your spine, bringing the soles of the feet to the earth and the knees up towards the sky. Hands come to rest wherever feels comfortable for you today. Perhaps that's somewhere on the body, maybe down the sides. And closing down the eyes or softening the gaze. And starting to soften the breath here. So taking some longer inhales, some longer exhales. Finding this sense of expansion through the chest and the belly as we inhale. As the belly lifts up and the rib cage and the chest expands. And then as we exhale, everything softens and releases. Seeing if we can soften the body a little bit more with each exhale. Noticing how the body is feeling today. If there's any areas of stiffness or tightness, discomfort. Breathing into these spaces, allowing the breath to soften them. Feeling the sense of stillness, of peace and calm as you continue to breathe. And then bringing the hands to the sides of the ribs, so the fingertips spread forward and the thumb comes behind, almost like you're kind of holding your ribs. As you inhale, breathing into the hands, spread the rib cage. Exhale it out. Inhale into the sides of the ribs. Exhale it out through a straw. Noticing what happens to your ribs here. This time as we exhale, we're going to think about drawing the bottom of the ribs in and down. So trying to get this kind of opposite of flaring. So often we flare the ribs out forward, especially in a lot of poses that we do. So we'll be using this idea of kind of knitting the lower ribs in towards each other, in and down. So inhale into the ribs, find this expansion. As you exhale, draw the navel slightly in, draw the ribs in towards each other. Notice how that feels. Inhale into the sides of the ribs. Exhale everything in. Perhaps making an audible exhale here. Maybe that helps you kind of find that knitting in the center. Inhaling into the ribs. Exhale. Beautiful. We'll take one more into the ribs. Exhale. Really good. Drawing the knees in towards the body. Taking some rolls on the spine, rolling side to side, forward and back. Massaging the lower back on the earth. Perhaps drawing some circles. Perhaps drawing the knees in opposite directions. So bringing a bit of awareness into the hips and the inner thigh. Beautiful. And then bringing the hands to the thighs and rocking and rolling on the spine, coming halfway up and then back down. And then rolling all the way up to find seated, coming to find a comfortable place, cross-legged or kneeling. Taking a moment to settle in. Hands rest wherever feels comfortable as we find length in the spine here. So seeing if you can find that rib kind of motion or awareness. So as we inhale, we find this expansion, this lengthening. And then as we exhale, the ribs draw in. So we don't get this kind of flaring of the ribs. Everything draws in. And we find this engagement. Lengthening through the back of the neck, almost pressing the back of the head back. Inhale, sweeping the arms up high. Reaching them up and overhead, reaching out through the sides of the body. Draw the navel in. Clasping the fingertips as you press the palms up towards the ceiling. Reach it up, maybe gazing up slightly. Exhale, release the hands, clasping them behind the back. As you inhale, pull the heart through, shoulders roll back towards each other. Perhaps taking a few head and neck rolls here. Oh, gosh, mine's a bit clicky. And then exhale, release. Right hand finds the earth beside you. Inhale, sweep up the left. Finding this beautiful side extension. So thinking about drawing the left shoulder back, opening out through the heart space, both sit bones anchoring down into the ground. Creating space in the torso. So as we inhale, finding length. Exhale, finding softness. Beautiful. Inhale, rise. Left hand finds the earth. Inhale, sweep up the right. Exhaling it over. Inhale to draw the shoulder back slightly, anchoring down through those sit bones. Finding length and space in the torso. Exhale, finding softness. Inhale, rise. Reaching both hands back up to the sky. As you exhale, hands find the earth. Take a moment to find length in the spine first. And then as we exhale, folding down, maybe the forearms to the earth. Relaxing the head and the neck wherever you are. Perhaps giving it a gentle shake. Perhaps swaying the hips slightly. Or not swaying the hips, swaying the body. Inhale, lifting to find length. Pressing the back of the head back. And then rolling over the shins and coming up to find tabletop. So hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, spreading the fingertips wide. As you inhale, the belly drops, chest reaches forward, tailbone lifts up. Exhale, press the back of the heart up and away. As you draw the chin in towards the chest, draw the navel in. Inhale to roll forward. Exhaling it back. So starting to just find your own breath here for a few rounds. Rolling forwards and back, finding this fluidity in the spine. Perhaps we start to find some more organic movement here, circling through the hips. Rolling back through a child's pose, lowering one elbow and the other. Moving in a way that feels right for you today. So perhaps that's different from yesterday or the day before. kind of listening and tuning in with where you're at in this present moment. And as you exhale, sending the hips back towards the heels, reach the fingertips forward, bowing everything down, coming into a child's pose. Perhaps swaying the hips, rolling the forehead on the earth, allowing the body to melt down. Softening through the lower back, through the hips. Perhaps the knees are a little bit wider. And then as you inhale, curving up through the spine as we make our way back to a tabletop. Hands come back underneath the shoulders. As we tuck the toes, lift the knees and the hips, send it back, downward facing dog. Giving the head a shake, pedaling the legs, exploring some movement here, warming up the body in a way that feels right. And perhaps giving the bum a shake, finding some twists and wriggles and rolls. Fingertips are spreading wide. Finding softness in the knees here, so the heels don't need to be touching the ground. Knees can be bent. Head is relaxing down. And finding this kind of wrap in the upper arms. So we bend the elbows slightly, ever so slightly, and then draw the elbows towards the back of the mat. So then we find this wrap of the tricep of the upper arm. And it's this sort of thing where the upper back kind of spreads and opens a bit more. We find a bit more space. Beautiful. On an inhale, looking forward, taking baby steps towards the front of the mat as we find our way to a ragdoll forward fold. Inhale, lifting the head and the chest. Flat back, fingertips to ground or hands to shins. Exhale to fold. Inhaling to a flat back. Exhale to fold. Last one, inhale, rise, flat back. Find length in the spine, press the back of the head back. Exhale, soften and fold. Relax the head down, maybe give it a shake. Soften the knees even more here, maybe bring the feet out a bit wider, clasping opposite arm with opposite elbow, and just really allow the upper body to hang. Belly comes towards the thighs as we lengthen through the upper body as it hangs down. Feet stay rooted. As you inhale, we'll start to unravel our way up to standing, untucking the vertebrae as we rise. Coming all the way up, sweeping the arms out wide, reaching them up and overhead. Urdhva Hastasana, our extended mountain pose. Exhaling the hands down through prayer, bringing them into the heart space. Coming to find our mountain pose. So grounding the feet down, they can be hip distance apart, toes touching, somewhere in between. Soften through the knees slightly so you can find this tuck of the tailbone. Well, not even a tuck, more of a lengthening of the tailbone as it draws down. Navel draws in. Inhale to find length. Exhale, shoulders soften down. As you inhale, sweeping the arms up high, Urdhva Hastasana, our extended mountain pose. Exhale, hinging forward from the hips, coming into Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, lift the head and the chest, halfway lift, Urdhva Uttanasana. Exhale, hands find the earth, stepping back, high plank. Engaging the core, shoulders above the wrist, sending the heels towards the back of the room. Sucking the navel in towards the body, puffing up through the back of the heart. Exhale, drop the knees. Bend the elbows, lower the chest, and then the chin. Inhale to rise it up, Cobra, Sphinx, upward facing dog. Shoulders roll back and down. Engaging the glutes slightly, engaging the quads. Exhale to tuck the toes, lift the knees, send it up and back. Downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift the right leg up high, three-legged dog. But starting off, just bringing it so the hips stay in line. Toes point down to the ground. Beautiful. And then our next inhale, maybe we open out the hip a bit more, lift it up a bit higher. Maybe bend the knee. Perhaps draw some circles one way and then the other. And then as you inhale, looking forward, stepping the foot in between the hands, left knee finds the earth, kneeling lunge. On an inhale, the heart pulls forward and through. Exhale, send it back, extend that right leg. Inhale to come forward. Exhaling it back. Inhale to come forward. This time as you exhale, send it back, lift the toes. Hands come a bit closer towards the body and almost tenting the fingertips outside of the mat. Soften through that right knee. Inhale to find length. Exhale to soften and fold over the right leg. Relaxing the head and the neck wherever you are. Perhaps seeing if you can square the hips slightly. Bringing them over towards the right. As you inhale. Slowly rolling back forward, reaching the fingertips forward and up. Inhale to find length. Exhale. Softening everything down. Shoulders roll back and down. Drawing the navel slightly in. Drawing the thighs slightly towards each other, almost magnetizing them towards each other. Beautiful. Exhale, hands find the earth. Stepping back, high plank. Lowering down either by dropping the knees and then bending the elbows again, or maybe finding a chaturanga half press up. All the way to the earth. Inhale, rise, cobra, sphinx, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the left leg lifts this time, keeping the hips square, toes pointing down to the ground. And then maybe we lift the leg a bit higher, open the hip, bend the knee. Perhaps draw some circles. And then inhale, stepping the foot forward. Drop the right knee, kneeling lunge. Inhale to pull the heart through. Exhale, send it back. Inhale to come forward. Exhaling it back. One more inhale, coming forward. Exhale, send the hips back, lift the left toes. Hands come a bit closer, maybe, bring them outside of the mat. Softening that left knee as you inhale to find length. Exhale to fold. Relaxing the head and the neck wherever you are. Maybe squaring the hips slightly. As you inhale, coming forward. Reach the fingertips forward and up. Find length on that inhale. Exhale, finding softness. Shoulders roll back and down. Magnetizing the thighs towards each other. Exhaling the hands down towards the ground. Stepping back, high plank. Engaging the core, shoulders above the wrists. Exhale, dropping the knees. Bend the elbows, lowering all the way to the earth. As you inhale, rise, cobra, sphinx, upward facing dog. Exhaling it back. Downward facing dog. Big breath in through the nose, big breath out through the mouth. Giving the head a shake, pedaling the legs. And then as you inhale, looking through, coming forward and coming to find seated. Beautiful. So the next little flow that we're going to be doing, I'll just demo it just to start with so that you can kind of see where we're going with it, but it's not too complicated. So I'll sit at like an angle. So we'll start in a very small boat pose. So thinking about finding that length in the spine. Exhale, knitting the ribs in. Engage the core. Just for a moment. And then as we exhale, we'll drop the right knee, the right foot to the ground. So the foot comes underneath that left thigh. And as you inhale, we'll roll forward. You can use your core, all your hands. As you rise up, reach the fingertips up high. Squeeze the butt cheeks as you lengthen the tailbone down. Exhale, hug the ribs in. Exhale, release it back down. Pick both legs up, mini boat pose. Left leg comes down on an exhale. Ooh, rise it back up. Squeeze the butt cheeks. Beautiful. Cool. And then we'll down, well, feel free to join in now if you haven't already. But otherwise, boat pose. Exhale, dropping the right shin as you inhale to rise. Squeezing the butt cheeks. Exhale. Release it down. Mini boat pose. Exhale, left shin. Rise it up. Squeeze everything in. Hug it into the midline. Exhale, release. Finding our boat pose. Right shin. Lift it up. Reach the arms. Squeeze everything in. Really engaging through the front quad. Front hip flexor. Exhale it down. Mini boat pose. Left side. Beautiful. We'll do one more. Mini boat pose. Right shin. Lift it up. Exhale. Mini boat. Left shin. Rise it up. And then exhale, release. Boat pose. Hold it here. So you can stay in this kind of mini variation. Or maybe we think about finding a slightly stronger one. Shins can come parallel to the ground. Maybe we straighten one leg, maybe the other. Whew. Hands are always there to support if you need. Think about really drawing the chest forward, lengthening through the spine. One more breath here. And then exhale. Slowly release everything down. Whew. So bringing the hands behind you. Feet, knees, and hips all roughly in line and coming to a bit of a V in the feet. We'll just sway the knees from side to side. So allow the weight of gravity to really flop them down and the body follows. And then the next time the knees flop over to the right, the body's going to follow all the way. So picking that left hand up as it comes round to the back of the mat. And we come to find a really gentle twist here. If this is too much for you, you can back off a bit and kind of come to more of a seated mermaid. But otherwise, gazing towards the back of the mat. Push the back of the head away from you. Inhaling into the core, into the torso. Exhale. One more breath here. And then on your inhale, slowly circle it back. Left hand finds the ground behind you. So we sway the legs a little bit more. And then exhale, dropping the knees over towards the left. The whole body follows. Right arm swings round. Inhale to find length. Exhale. Noticing if it feels more different on one side. Maybe it doesn't. Beautiful. Exhale, slowly roll it back. Coming back through center. Both hands find the earth behind you. Couple more sways. Really allow the body to follow you. And then inhale. Rising up through center, reach the fingers up, lengthen through the sides of the body, sides of the ribs. And then we'll cross the shins over, rolling it up. Tabletop. Hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Tucking the toes, sending it back. Downward facing dog. Exploring some movement here, pedaling the legs, giving the bum a wiggle, shaking the head. Inhale, rippling the weight forward as we come to find a high plank, shoulders above the wrists. Exhale, soften the knees ever so slightly as you send the bum back towards the back of the mat. Downward facing dog. Inhale to ripple forward, draw the navel in. Exhale, rippling it back, downward facing dog. One more, inhale to ripple forward, high plank. Exhale, rippling it back, downward facing dog. Big breath in here, big breath out. As you inhale, lifting the right leg up high, three-legged dog. Drawing the right knee in towards the chest. So you shift the weight forward, one-legged plank. And then dropping the foot in between the hands, finding our low lunge. Adjusting the feet if need be. Then as you inhale, rising it up. Woo. Coming to find our warrior one. Shoulders drop back and down. Again, finding this magnetizing of the thighs towards each other. So maybe we shorten our stance or bend that back knee. Draw the navel in. Exhale, hug the lower ribs in. As you exhale, we'll turn it out towards the right. So the right hand comes behind us, left arm forward as we find a twisted warrior two. Perhaps gazing behind you, challenge your balance. And then inhale back through center. On your next inhale, sending the weight into that front foot, so your right foot. As you inhale, lift. Ooh. Draw the left knee in towards the body, hug it in. Maybe giving that ankle a little rotate, flexing the toes, squeezing them in. And then keeping the right hand on your leg. We'll exhale, open it out towards the left, coming into a gentle twist. Challenging your balance. Option to come a little bit deeper here and take hold of that left foot and extend the left leg out. Beautiful. Inhale, slowly moving back through center. As you draw that left ankle over the right knee, right thigh. Ooh. And coming to find a standing figure four. So bending through the right knee as we squat down, find length in the spine. Hands come to whatever feels most comfortable for you. Pressing the back of the head away. Maybe coming a little bit lower. Ooh. Inhale, rise, draw the knee in, reach the fingertips up high. Exhale, shift the weight forward as we come to warrior three. Left leg back behind us. Toes pointing down to the ground, squaring the hips. One more breath here. And then dropping the left foot, then the left knee. Woo. Taking a moment, have a little wriggle out if you need to. Coming to find our kind of really gentle kneeling lunge. Maybe having a little twist through the hips. Beautiful. And then rising up and coming to find a kind of 90 degree lunge. So we're finding these right angles in the knee. Option to kind of bring something under your left knee or your left shin. And then as you inhale, we're going to squeeze that left butt cheek. We're finding this engagement and the switching on of the left thigh, the left hip flexor. Gently magnetize that right thigh towards the left. So we find this kind of almost slight pull, like find length in the spine. Exhale, hug the lower ribs in. Inhale, reach the fingertips up high. Exhale, open the elbows out, cactus arms. Hug the low ribs in. Inhale, reach the fingertips up. Exhale. Keeping that left glute engaged. Inhale, reach the fingertips up. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Holding it here. And this time as you inhale, we're going to soften the thighs slightly, ever so slightly. Draw the chest up and forward. Notice how that feels. And as you exhale, everything back in. Slowly release the hands. So we'll wiggle that right foot out a bit wider so we come to find lizard. So you can either stay with that back knee down, maybe we lift it. Just take a couple breaths here. Lengthening through that back leg, right knee is bent. Finding length in the spine here. Maybe we're a bit more gentle. Maybe we're on our forearms. And then as you exhale, slowly soften, and then we'll heel toe that right foot over towards the left. And come to find pigeon. So extending the left leg out behind you. You can perhaps bring a pillow or a blanket underneath the right sit bone. And as you inhale, find length in the spine, puffing out through the chest, finding this kind of proud pigeon moment. And as we exhale, trickling our way down, perhaps to the forearms, maybe we stay here. Maybe the head comes to the hands, or maybe we come all the way down. Allowing the exhale to soften the glutes, soften the hips. Allowing everything in this area to basically melt into the earth or towards the earth. One more breath here. And then as you inhale slowly, rolling and rising your way up, hands find the earth. As you draw the heart through, finding that proud pigeon. Tucking the left toes as you lift your way up and send the right foot back to meet the left. Woo. Pedal through the legs, give the bum a shake. Find some kind of counter movements that feel good for you. Beautiful. As you inhale, lift the left leg this time. Sending the foot forward in between the hands. Low lunge. As you rise, making your way up to find your high lunge. Hips facing forward. Reach the fingertips up, maybe finding a gentle bend in that back leg. As you exhale, opening it up towards the left. Left hand comes behind you, right hand forward. Perhaps gazing behind you. Inhale slowly back through center. And then on your next inhale, finding that strength as you send the weight into the front foot, the left foot. Woo. Draw the right knee in, hug it in towards the body. Rotate through the ankle, flex through the toes, take a moment, find your balance. And then holding on with your left hand still, reaching the right arm back behind you, coming into our twist. Again, maybe we take hold of the right foot and extend the leg out. One more breath here. And then slowly crossing the right ankle over the left thigh or the knee and coming to find a kind of one leg figure four type of thing as we bend through the left knee, squat down. Engaging that right foot so we're protecting the knee. Finding length in the spine, hands come to whatever feels most supportive. One more breath here. As you inhale, rise. Draw the knee in, reach the fingertips up. Exhale, send the weight forward. Woo, warrior three. Toes pointing down to the ground, find length. Squaring the hips. Exhale, dropping the right foot, then the knee. Beautiful. Take a little moment, have a wriggle out if you need to. And then we'll come to find our 90-90 lunge. Beautiful. So again, maybe bring your blanket underneath your right shin or your right knee. Maybe your toes are tucked. Maybe that's more comfortable for you. Cool. And then from here, we'll squeeze that right butt cheek. So find this engagement, this turning on of the front of the right thigh, the right quad and the right hip flexor. And then magnetizing the thighs towards each other. So we're engaging through that left thigh as well and finding this kind of, as everything hugs in. Inhale, find length. Exhale, hug the low ribs in. Inhale, reach the fingertips up high. Exhale, cactus the arms out. Hug the low ribs in. What are your glutes doing? Inhale, reach it up. Exhale. Beautiful. Keep that breath going. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Hold it here. Hug the low ribs in. Squeeze the thighs. Soften a little bit as you inhale. Draw the heart through and up slightly. How does that feel? Exhale. Soften everything down. Hands find the earth. Heel toe the left foot out to find lizard. So again, right knee can be on the earth. Maybe we lift it. Maybe we come to our forearms. Just take a few breaths wherever you are. Find length in the spine. Finding strength through both legs. Beautiful. And then softening slightly. Heel toeing the left foot over towards the right. And come to find pigeon on the other side. Take a moment, have a wriggle, maybe stacking a pillow or a blanket underneath the left glute. Find length on the inhale. And then exhale, melting down towards the ground. Perhaps to the forearms. Maybe the head finds the hands. One more breath here. And then on an inhale, slowly rise as the hands find the earth. Pulling the heart through slightly, finding your proud pigeon. Tucking the right toes if they're not already. Hug the left knee in as you send it back to meet the right. Ooh, downward facing dog. Giving the head a shake, giving the bum a wiggle, giving the legs a shake and a... Taking a moment to enjoy this pose. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog. Head relaxes down. Again, maybe finding that wrap of the upper arm. One more breath here. Inhale, shifting the weight forward, high plank. Dropping the knees to the earth. Bend the elbows, lowering everything towards the ground. Ooh, coming to the belly. Now we'll come to find just a really gentle sphinx. Coming to find a really gentle sphinx. Pressing the palms into the ground. Maybe the hands come out a little bit wider. Maybe that's more comfortable for you. Pressing the tops of the feet into the ground. So you find this gentle engagement through the front of the thighs, the pelvis, as we lift up through the heart. pressing the back of the head back so we find length in the neck. Breathing into the heart space. And as you exhale, rippling the body down, making a little pillow with the hands for the forehead, and coming to rest the head on the hands. I'm just going to pretend so you can still hear me. But really breathing into the belly here. Really feeling everything soften and release as you exhale. As we breathe into the belly, our body kind of almost feels like it's going to lift off, right? Kind of rises. And then as we exhale, we melt into the earth. Almost imagining your skin and your whole body are melting into the ground. Feel that relaxed now. One more breath here. And then bringing the hands underneath the shoulders as you press up, bending the knees, send the hips back, coming to find a child's pose. Lengthening through the spine, through the fingertips. Knees can come out a bit wider. Perhaps finding some gentle wriggles in the hips or rolling the forehead on the earth. Allowing everything to soften and release. As you next inhale, almost as if you're dragging the fingertips through sand, we'll roll the spine up and come to find kneeling. Hands find the thighs as we find length, rising it up. Eyes can close or the gaze can soften. Coming back to the breath. And then allowing the hips to just kind of roll to one side as you swing the legs forward. Hugging the knees in towards the body and allowing the spine to round here. Head softens down, perhaps on the knees or somewhere in between. And then as you next exhale, softening the spine all the way onto the ground, hugging the knees in, rolling from side to side, forward and back, massaging the lower back on the ground. Doing circles one way and then the other. And then bringing the soles of the feet to the ground. Heels close to the bum. Feet hip distance apart. Bringing the hands down the sides of the body, palms into the earth. And then finding this gentle tuck of the tailbone. So we're not lifting up just yet. Just the tailbone, just the pelvis. Noticing if more of the lower back is on the ground. As you exhale, maybe seeing if you can find that knitting of the ribs, the low ribs in towards each other. How does that change everything that's going on in the torso, in the trunk? thighs are slightly engaged. And maybe we lift the bum ever so slightly, literally like a millimeter off. Squeeze the butt cheeks together. Exhale, hug the low ribs in. So we're almost getting, well, it's not flat, but it kind of starts to feel a bit more like that, right? Thighs are engaged. Everything is engaged. Keep that tailbone tucking down so we're engaging the bum, engaging the glutes. Sending the tailbone almost towards the heels. One more breath here. And then slowly release. Bringing the feet out wide, mat's distant. Allow the knees to fall in towards each other. Maybe find some sways. Windscreen wiper, side to side. And then the next time the knees kind of rock over to the left. Allow them to come all the way down. Extending the right arm out and coming to find a supine spinal twist. So whatever variation works for you. Knees can be bent. Well, knees are bent. Maybe one of them is straight. Left hand can come to the thighs or the knee. Maybe we gaze up. Or maybe we gaze over towards the right. Finding length through the spine as we inhale. And softness as we exhale. Allowing the shoulders and the knees and the hips to really release and soften as we exhale. One more breath here. And slowly guiding the knees back through center. Have a little wriggle to realign, and then the knees find the earth on the right side. Extending the left arm out. Perhaps gazing over towards the left. And again, allowing the breath to soften us here. Shoulders and knees soften towards the ground. And then again, when you're ready, draw the knees back through center. Taking any rolls and wriggles, or perhaps any final poses that you wish to take before we make our way to find Shavasana. So when you're ready, come to find a comfortable position on your back. Perhaps the legs are out long, or the soles of the feet come together, or the soles of the feet find the earth. Take a couple moments to get comfortable. And once you've found yourself in a comfortable space, take a deep inhale in through the nose. And then a big exhale out through the mouth. Breathing into the chest and the belly. Finding this, again, the sense of expansion as we inhale. And then as we exhale, everything releases. Seeing if we can soften a little bit further with each exhale. allowing the mind to stay quiet. And if thoughts come, allow them to present themselves. But then allowing them to perhaps leave with the exhale. And just allowing ourselves this time and this space. And I invite you to stay here for as long as you feel you need. At least definitely for a couple of minutes. Allowing your body to melt into the mat, into the earth. But take however long you need. It's been a pleasure practicing with you today. Namaste.